why does this question keep coming up to me?
Yeah.
So, should I tell the people what the
Please do.
I keep getting asked, why aren't you married? Because there's a lot of people that are like, you should definitely be married.
Yeah.
Oh my God, when men say that to me, you definitely should never be alone. I'm like, bro, I would never ever want to be with you. Like,
Beautiful people, welcome back to another episode of Who Can Relate. Nearing the end of season 1, which is wild and crazy. Thank you. Really quick, shout out to everyone who has left a review on Apple Podcasts. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. If you have subscribed and turned on your notifications on YouTube, I see you. I also see in all the comments. I actually had a therapy session yesterday, and my therapist was on, I forgot what episode, and he was like, your community is amazing. Like, the comments are crazy. So just a testament to each and every one of you. So thank you. And today I have a repeat guest, a crowd favorite. Miss Laticia Rolle is back.
oh,
Welcome back.
thank you. Thank you
Third
for
time
having me
is
back.
it going to be a great charm?
Heck yeah.
You've been on 3 times now.
Has it been 3?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Wow, time is
I
flying.
know. I think because you were the first episode, which
Yes.
way back,
Yes.
and then even the second one was like
Oh, yeah.
a while ago at your place.
Yes.
I think that was like
Yo,
January, February,
That was
maybe.
such an interesting time.
Yeah, that was the
Wow.
not my soulmate.
Yes,
Time,
that
for
was
sure.
powerful.
When I was talking about coming back on, it's a kind of full circle. Season 1, you were the first episode, and this is near towards the end. If you wanted to get anything off your chest, you wanted to talk about anything, and you
Yes.
gave me an answer that was very unexpected.
Was it unexpected?
But yeah, and you were like passionate about it.
Yeah.
What was
because
that?
it's a question I get asked from men and women all the time.
Yeah.
I was just with one of my homeboys the other day, and he asked it to me, and I was like, why does this question keep coming up to me?
Yeah.
So, should I tell the people what the question is?
Please do.
I keep getting asked, why aren't you married? And then it follows up with, you should definitely be married. Like, I don't get it.
What do you think they mean by that? Like the second part, you should definitely be married. What do you think they mean?
I mean, look, I don't know if they're projecting onto me or they think that there's something wrong with me. Like, I don't know. So it depends on who is asking me.
Yeah.
Their perspective on marriage, I always take that into consideration because there's a lot of people that are like, you should definitely be married.
Yeah.
Oh my God, when men say that to me, you definitely should never be alone. I'm like, bruh, I would never ever want to be with you. Like, so
I was gonna say, I'm trying to like get into their mind for a second.
Yes.
It may be a pickup line. I don't know about your homeboy,
Yeah.
the last one, but
it doesn't work, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
That pickup line does not work.
I think it's a little bit of a pickup line, but I also know that I have to figure out a better way to say this because I get killed every time. But I believe there are certain women for certain things, just like there are certain men for certain things.
Yes.
And you, my dear friend, are in the wifey category. So I think that's what they mean by that.
Yes.
The way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, your morals, your standards, what you have going for you, what you've built, who you are inside and out, your wife material. And that's, I think, what they mean. There's probably a better way for them to say it.
Right.
But even then, like, how does it make you feel when you're getting this question weekly?
Okay, can I just rewind on something and
Sure.
challenge you?
Oh, of course.
Who decides what wife material is? What is wife material? Can you tell me that?
I don't know who decides it. I don't know if it's society. I don't know if it's women. I don't know if it's men.
Yes.
But I know from my perspective, based on how, first things first, like how you present yourself.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yes.
Whether it's on a dating app, your profile, on Instagram now, whatever. How you present yourself is huge.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with it, right? Like how you are perceived. Not that all of that is in your control, but a lot of it is, especially
Yes.
what you decide to put up as this is who I am, this is what I'm looking for. But when it comes to what makes someone husband material, wife material,
Yes. Isn't it subjective?
It's very subjective.
Because what I want is completely different than what Shay probably wants, right? Or Jessica wants, or Sally wants.
But if the commonality is marriage, right?
Yeah.
You may want something in a man that's different than Shay and whatever, but the overall is marriage.
Yeah, but the older I'm getting, the more the idea of marriage is changing for me.
How
like
so?
what I used to want, like what I used to think marriage actually was, to now what I'm being exposed to and learning and seeing and actually discovering myself and like actually what my desires and wants are as a woman, as an individual, marriage is completely different to me.
Oh, yeah.
It's completely different to me.
What,
you know?
What was your idea of marriage?
Oh my God. I mean, I was raised with a mom and dad, right? So my idea of marriage was old school, 100% old school. My parents were young though. So my mom had me at 17. My dad was 18.
Wow.
And they were kids, raising kids.
Yep.
Shout out to mom and dad because they did a great job. They did the best they could do.
Yeah.
And so I saw mom and dad. I saw this unit, this family. You know, dad ran the shit. You know, excuse my language. Dad ran the show. My mom did the motherly, womanly, ideal things. You know, she cooked and cleaned. My mom also worked. My mom took care of us. She did everything. You know, my father worked too. He coached us. You know, so in my head, it's like you come together, you build this unit, you have kids, you live happily ever after.
Yeah.
Until my parents divorced at 28, and I was like, yo, skirt.
So you were 11?
No, I was 28 years old.
Oh, you were 28.
Yeah,
Sorry, I thought you said when they were 20.
Yeah,
Got it.
I was 28 years old.
Yeah.
And I was like, skirt, like,
wow.
what? So, you know, a lot of us live in this fantasy when we see our parents as these superheroes, they can do nothing wrong. We forget they're human, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know there was all these issues in marriage. I didn't know there was all these unfulfilled feelings. I mean, they were young. They never lived. They were 17, 18.
They didn't even know who they were.
No, they were kids raising kids.
Yeah.
So it changed my idea of what marriage actually is. I mean, I don't have the answer.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I don't know if anyone really did. And even if they do, that is also subjective.
It's very subjective.
Well.
But for me, I want a partner, like a life partner, like you talk about often.
Yep.
You know?
I want
that's
someone
so powerful.
that I can share life with.
Yes. Hell
that's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And I would love a family. You know, I'm looking forward to having a family and doing life with somebody dope as you know what I mean? Building together, growing together, falling together, getting back up together.
Right.
But enjoying it.
So how old were you? Or you said you were 28 when your parents got divorced. How long were they married then?
They were married for 21, 22 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So imagine that. You know, people always say like,
wow,
oh, whatever, you're old enough. It shouldn't be that bad. I was like, dude, when you're young, you can adapt. You don't know anything else.
Sure.
When you're older, you're just like, I was like blindsided. I was like, yo, what's going on?
So you never, this like totally threw you for a loop?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Totally threw us for a loop.
Wow.
My entire family, there's 5 siblings.
Yeah.
And we're all really close. My family's really close.
Yeah.
And when everything happened, it was kind of like our worlds got turned upside down.
You're the second oldest, right?
Yes.
How was it for your sister who's older and then for your younger siblings? Like, how did you guys cope?
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. We didn't talk to our father for a couple months.
Okay.
Some did, some didn't. We were very supportive of my mother.
Yeah.
My father stepped out. And that's the premise of it, right? So whatever, he was going through what he was going through. I feel like he was going through a midlife crisis. You know, he didn't know how to handle it. My father never had parents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like my grandmother died of AIDS. My grandfather was murdered. So like my dad's from Brooklyn. He was born and raised in the streets. Like he was raised by his grandmothers. So he did amazing for what he had.
I was just thinking that.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So when things like this happen now, I can look back and be like, wow, he was probably going through a really tough time and didn't know how to cope. He didn't go to therapy. He didn't do all these things that we're doing now.
Right.
So I'm like, yo, he didn't know what he was doing. Then he stepped now. I mean, I know if he could take things back and change things, he would. Sure. But it's life. Yeah. And that's just his path and this is his journey. Mm-hmm. But my siblings, getting back to the question, took it we all took it very differently, especially the boys, you know, and the girls. And it was hard on everyone. Yeah. We had a lot of like changes. Birthday parties now are different. Holidays are different. Yeah. We have to go to 2 houses. Now when I go home to visit Massachusetts, I have to literally schedule. Yeah. It's a lot of work. It's different now, you know, but I live by the way now with my parents where as long as they're healthy and happy in the way they're living, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And you figure it out.
Yeah.
But it was hard. It was hard. I think divorce as an adult is not easy at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever easy.
Yeah.
It may be easier at a certain point in time if you're, say, get married at 22, 23, now you're divorced at 29. You're like, okay, at least I have my whole life, whatever, ahead of me. But it's interesting that you brought up divorce. I was trying to prep for today, and one of the stats that I printed out, this like blew my entire world. So based on a study, in 1962, 90% of 30-year-olds had been married at least once. 90%.
That's wild.
As of 2019, only 51% had been married at the age of 30.
Wow.
So almost cut in half.
Wow.
The other stat with divorce, as we all know, is there's somewhere between right now, as of 2020, 40 and 50% of all marriages end in divorce today.
40 to 50?
40. So you got half a shot at this thing that they call marriage. I think my next question is not because it's the why aren't you married is
yeah, why aren't you married?
It's a dumb question. It all depends on who's asking. You know, if you get the person who was married in 1962, they're like, how old are you? Why aren't you married?
Oh, can I tell you something though now?
Yeah.
I was just at my cousin's baby shower.
Yeah.
And we're all at the table. I'm with my aunties. They're old school, been married for like 50 something years. My grandma was married for 50 something years. Yeah. They all looked at me and they said, why would you get married? Oh. You can go to the sperm bank now to have kids.
You don't even need a man.
You don't got to deal with what we deal with.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
These are my aunts and my cousins. And I was like, because they went through some things in their marriages, but they had to back in those times.
Right. Yeah.
As a woman, you didn't have a lot of choice.
Right.
So you stuck it out and you did what you had to do. Mm-hmm. And from my side of my family anyway, from the woman on my side, on my mother's side, and even on my father's side, when I think about it, it's all ancestral for me as a woman. I always think about my ancestors. And I was like, yo, marriage was so hard for them that they're like, you can go to the sperm bank, baby. Why would you get married? Yeah. Why?
Why would you put yourself through?
Yes. And I was like, this is so interesting. So it's a societal ideal.
Sure.
You know?
And pressure. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people equate marriage to success. Right? It does hit different, right? Like when I say, this is my wife, I do notice there's a different response, whether I'm on a plane with someone or I'm out and about and I meet someone as opposed to like, oh, it's my girlfriend.
Yes.
My boy Jared talked about this in an episode. I enjoy the podcast. And he said, one of the benefits of being married is there's no more need for further explanation. Like when I say, this is my wife, you already know a lot that I stand for, what I'm about, where I am today, maybe right? It's just like, as opposed to, oh, this is my girlfriend. In marriage, they might say, oh, how long you been married, right? But if this is my girlfriend, oh, how long has been together? Oh, okay. And you could start to see they're calculating things, right? I like that. It's like, oh, we've been together for 5 years. And you're like, oh, there's no ring on your finger. You know this? And I'm like, this is my wife. They're like, congratulations. It's just like a very simple response. And I was like, wow, they treat you different, look at you differently. But
that's so crazy.
It's wild, right?
It's wild when I think about it. Even you have me thinking, like last night I was out and she was like, you're not taken, you should be taken. And if I said I had a man, it would probably be a different situation. Yeah. Or if I said I had a husband, she probably would have looked at me differently. The vibe probably would have changed.
Yeah. I think because
so intriguing.
And here's the thing, like we're talking primarily about the States.
Yes.
Europe is a whole different vibe.
Yes.
A whole different vibe. And in the States, within that, it's very regional, right? Like people in the South are maybe viewed marriage differently than they do on the East Coast or West Coast or whatever. 100%. And the age of which you're getting married it could be different as well. But I think in a universal way, society looks at you, especially at a certain age. So say it's something 30 and you're not married. It's like, there must be something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Or, you know, oh, maybe she's and they go into all, it's like, why not just say like, maybe I don't want to be right now. Yes. Like why can't that be a thought in your head?
Yes. And why can't you honor me? as a woman,
as me,
doing the damn thing.
Right.
Like, what's wrong?
What's going on?
Yes.
And that, I can't imagine the frustration that you must have with that, especially when people are like, why aren't you married? Why aren't you married? When it gets so redundant.
Yeah.
But just that part, like, I don't want to be right now.
Yeah. I haven't found my partner yet.
And that's okay.
And that is okay. Yeah. Because let me tell you, I know a lot of women that got married young that are unhappy.
Right.
That are in marriages that are not happy.
Yeah.
It may appear on social media that they're happy, but I know them.
Oh, for sure.
They're miserable.
Yeah.
There's very few happy marriages that I know that they've gotten married in their 20s.
Sure.
Very few. I mean, you just read the divorce rates.
Yeah. And that's
what am I rushing for?
Exactly. Even to the, like, down to science, like, your brain isn't even fully developed until 25.
Yes.
So that means you're definitely be thinking a whole different ball game from 24 to 26. And then also, like, you probably will, hopefully you will totally change, like, figure out who you are.
Yes.
It's extremely difficult to do all the above when you have to share yourself with someone.
And as women, a lot of us are so selfless and giving and nurturing and loving. So we often do give it all.
Right.
And stop learning about ourselves.
And what about you?
I've done that. I've done that.
Yeah.
And now, at my age, I'm finally stepping into my power as a woman.
How beautiful is that?
Now I know what I don't want.
Come on now.
I know what I want.
Yes.
And I'm in no rush.
Right.
Baby, because patience is a virtue. Why am I going to rush love?
Yeah.
What am I rushing?
Of all things.
Yes.
Don't rush that.
No.
Of all things.
There's no force. And I think, you talk about this too. When you become so whole in self, you're going to attract another whole partner.
Yeah.
And that's what I desire. That's what I want.
And you're going to attract, no pun intended, a whole different person.
Yes.
A whole different person when they see you vibrating as your wholesome self, as knowing who you are, what you stand for, what you will no longer not put up with, what you will no longer not tolerate and accept in forms of behavior. That shines differently. And so in your case, to a lot of men, that's like a bug repellent. They're like, I can't even, you know what?
And you can't.
Exactly.
And I'm all right with that.
And don't even try. Right?
We can be cool.
Yeah, but it shines totally different.
Yes.
And that's back to I think with the men who are like, oh, you should be. It's like because they know that about you. Now, whether that's a pickup line or just an actualization and realization for themselves, like, damn, like, I wish I had my shit together so I can step correct. Knowing that they can't, now all of a sudden you're intimidating. Yeah. But that's not your fault.
It's not my fault.
Don't lower your all that you built and worked on for someone who can't get it together and maybe won't.
Yes.
So
that's so powerful for your audience to know too.
Yeah.
Because I think Shay talks about this, knowing your worth and doing all that work on yourself.
Yeah.
And then you finally know your worth. You're not going to settle for anything. And I refuse to settle.
Right.
I refuse. I do too much work.
Yeah.
We do too much work on ourselves. To just settle for something because we're lonely or, we think we need a partner because our parents keep asking us when we're going to get married.
Or you're trying to fill voids that only you can fill, as we talked about way back on the first one.
We did.
And Shay said it a couple weeks ago on our episode of getting to know each other better, whatever I titled it. She said, it's also not my responsibility for you to see my worth and value. Because if you can't, it's just that. You can't.
Yo, Shay for president.
Shay for president.
Shay for prezi, baby, because she's right. It's not.
I know. It's not, but it's difficult because, we always live at some point in time in the potential.
Yes.
If they can only, right, we've all been there. If they can only, and that's why I said a long time ago, you have to stop living in the idea of who this person could be rather than who they are showing up consistently saying, here's who I am. Yes. Here's who I am. Yes, I could be this, but here's where I am.
That's the potential. And that's that fantasy versus reality.
It's like a drug.
Bro, I used to live in that fantasy so hard.
And it's a toxic drug. It's a very, very toxic drug.
And it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be happy in the end.
No.
You really have to get yourself to a space where you're so good. I was talking to my girlfriend today on the hike. I said, I feel so damn good. My life is full. Career is flowing. Friends are on fire.
Yo, you sound like Tyler, the Creator. Did you see that?
No, I
He was like skin's glowing, nails popping.
Yeah.
Family's good, healthy, garage silly. Yeah, talk it.
I feel so damn good. Like, and if a partner, a man is coming in here, baby, he better add and sparkle some glitter on this shit, because that's how I feel. And if it's not glitter and it's not solid and it's not healthy, if it's not smart love, if it's not the love I desire
or deserve,
yeah, I'm not in a rush. There's no rush in this lifetime.
I feel you.
Great things take time.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of women feel the pressure.
Yeah.
Stop allowing people to put pressure on you. Men too, I'm sure.
To some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but probably more so
right?
women. Yeah.
The baby thing too.
Right. Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing.
That's a whole nother thing. So I have to ask you, so you were 28 years old, your parents get divorced, you were blindsided.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that tainted your idea of a union, of a partnership, of marriage. Yeah. Did you ever question, like, I don't even know if I believe in marriage anymore? Did it ever cross your mind?
Yes. For a second.
Okay.
But I'm a lover at heart. Yeah. I'm an Aquarius. Like,
come on, that's the Aquarius in you.
Yeah, you know that. You know that. Like, I believe in love, and I believe in good people, and I believe in good intentions. So for a moment, it did dampen my idea on love in marriage, because I'm like, I stopped trusting men. Yeah. You know, I started questioning a lot of things. But then when I found my therapist and I started digging deeper and deeper and deeper, I was like, oh, this has nothing to do with me. Yeah. It has to do with how I was raised, what I saw, the patterns that I adopted from my parents, from their parents, and so on and so forth. So uncovering that allowed me to get back into this idea of, I believe in love. Yeah. Love is all. You know what I mean? We all desire a beautiful form of love, from friends, from your dogs, from the audience. You know what I mean?
100%.
Love is what makes our world come. Love is for all humanity.
And it's needed even more so than wanted. Yes. Like, it's necessary.
Yes.
It's interesting you said that. I speaking of therapy, was in a therapy session recently, and my therapist challenged me to think of other ways that people could possibly show me love. Not just like the capital LOVE love, like the obvious love. Like, think of other ways. Yes. You know, maybe I was running around, I was busy, and I was like, oh, I forgot the dry cleaning. And Shay's like, I already got it for you. That's a form of love. Yes. And on and on. And I was like, huh. So at this homework assignment, I was like going, and I came up with all these things, and I was like, wow, there is so many different ways that people can show love. Yes. And also, too, back to the subjective word, I love that you were understanding of all that your parents probably were going through, and you were able to empathize, especially with your father, like you said, who, you know, it probably took a lot to forgive.
It took time,
right?
Oh yeah, it took time.
I'm sure, but then understood that they did the best they could. Yes. It wasn't enough. That's okay. Yes. I got it from here. Yes. And everyone's situation is different.
We're all on our own path.
Yeah. Just because it didn't work for them doesn't mean I'm doomed. And for us, it's like, we're on the same, Shay's on the same page too. Let's create something we've never seen before. It doesn't mean it's impossible. Yes. It may be difficult. It may be obviously difficult at times, for sure, right? We all have our ups and downs, but that's also life.
Ebbs and flows of life.
People who have the idea that once you get married, like, all the problems go away. And I'm raising my hand. If everyone's listening, I am raising my hand right now, because I was one of those people.
Really?
I thought by saying I do, we were like, happily ever after. and then unfortunately for us, our first year of marriage was COVID, you know, the pandemic. So we went through it.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, this isn't right. This isn't part of the script. And it was like, what script?
Who wrote it too, bro? Did you write the script?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you, stop watching The Notebook. Like, what is happening?
Oh my God. Yes.
Stop watching what society is painting the picture of perfect life, marriage, couple, love. And it really messed me up, like really, really messed me up. And
I'm sure it messed a lot of people up.
Right.
Not just you.
Well, that's a whole nother stat with divorce, that what the divorce rate happened with the pandemic. But all this to say that once I figured out that there are going to be ups and downs, there's going to be trial and error, there's going to be pain, there's going to be teaching lessons and learning lessons. But I started to think long-term for the first time ever than just short-term. I was like, but I got my partner. I don't always have to figure it out on myself. We can delegate to each other. We can count on each other, lean on each other. and let's figure it out. And really, whatever we were going through, we took it as not just learning lessons, but bricks for foundation to build us up. Because our bond,
that's the key.
Our bond was way stronger.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Is building that foundation.
Yeah.
You know, I like to think about it. I was an athlete growing up. So I always go back to that because that was my first love, basketball.
Sure. Yeah.
And when you have a team, y'all are all trying to win a championship game.
Yep.
You're going to have bad games. I might cuss one of the girls out. They might cuss me out. I might lose the winning shot. Yeah. But in the next game, I might hit it. We might be on fire. We might be undefeated next season.
Yeah.
It's the ebb and flow of life, right? It's
totally.
much like basketball. Basketball was, Spalding is still my first love.
Hey, shout out to Love and Basketball.
But, that movie messed me up too.
Yeah, I know. Because they got back together.
Yes.
If they didn't, I think I would have a better time coping when we have struggles in our marriage.
Yeah, Monica and Q. I used to watch the movie every night to sleep.
I used to watch it every day before a game. Yeah, I hear you.
So crazy.
I hear you.
So, going and seeing these type of things, you just become like, it really starts to shape you. But going back to the athletic part, the athlete part, I think of my partner in life as a teammate.
Yeah.
And I'm okay because I know we're going to lose some games, but we're going to win some games. But we're going for the championship. Yeah. Right? And now my championship might be different than your championship.
I was just going to say, our own championship.
It's your team.
Yeah.
Every team has a different goal.
Yeah.
Every team has a different set of morals and values. And you have to respect that.
I always talk about this in therapy because I deal in sports analogies a lot. And I used to tell Shay, we're on the same team. Now we have the same last name.
Right.
But we've always been on the same team. And even our championship, even if that moves back a little bit because something happens, it's okay. We're still going for this. Even if it changes, it's okay. We're still going for what ultimately is going to make us feel as a union, as one, as happy and fulfilled. Yes. And it's just, again, we're on the same teams. And that happens a lot when it comes, I say this a lot when it comes to fighting, we're at it. It's at times, because we're so used to being independent and we're so used to figuring things out on our own. We can't count on anyone. That's our whole thing. And so we naturally tend to lock up and just isolate, right? It's we're on the same team. There's no I in team. And it's well, there's a me. You know what I mean? We go through this, and it's whoa, we're on the same team. Yeah. Friendly reminder. Right. And then that kind of diffuses a lot of things.
That's beautiful.
But like you said, it all takes time.
Yes. And it's all learning.
It's all learning. It's all a process. It's part of the journey.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Marriage is a new thing. You've never done it before.
Yeah.
You're learning.
Right.
We forget.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we forget, we're going through life, starting this podcast. It's new. You have to learn it. And now look how friggin' incredible it is, and it's growing. Just like marriage. Yeah. You're learning it, and it will grow. Depending on how much you water this grass. Yeah. It'll depend on how much it will grow.
For sure.
In everything. That's life.
Yeah. Yeah. And two, even if and when you, more so when you quote unquote fail, fail forward.
Yes. 100%.
Fail forward. Yes. Figure out what went wrong, how I can get better, how I can do better, and what works best for us. But I want to go back to the, married thing and married young. One of the things that I also looked up was the top 10 reasons as to why people get divorced.
Interesting.
You want to try to guess some?
Money.
Yep, it's on there.
I know finances for sure.
That's number 2.
Children?
No, it's not on here.
No? I don't know. They grow apart. Different views.
Give you that. Yep. Unrealistic expectations. Yeah.
Expectations is the killer people. I don't know. Tell me the rest.
Yeah. So infidelity.
Oh yeah.
Number 1. You had finances. Number 2. Lack of communication. Number 3. Constant arguing. Number 4. Number 5 was interesting because I'm like, okay, well, if we're all being honest, yes, weight gain.
Really?
Which is problematic, but weight gain, right? I know. I was like, ooh.
Wow.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, especially if you got married young, you should just, right now I'm working with a 3.5 pack, 4-pack I got going on. Like, pandemic took a toll on your boy. Things are different now. But at 25, I had an 8-pack.
Shredded.
You know what I mean? So I'm in the best shape of my life. Yeah. When it comes to women getting pregnant, obviously your body changes. Obviously there's some imperfections. But to me, I mean, and this is not even for the cameras, this isn't for the audience. I would say this off because this is how I feel. And I remember telling my daughter's mom this, like, she was very, like most women, I'm sure, insecure about her stretch marks with pregnancy. And I used to tell her, like, whatever happened to your body to gift us with this gift, I'm all for it.
It's beautiful.
Because when I look at that, I think of my daughter.
Yes.
I don't look at it as like, well, when's the last time you were at the gym? Right? I'm like, I understand what it takes. Right. When you're ready. Right. Don't forget that, you know, the attraction is a big part of what we're talking about, because the other, I think it's 7 on here, is lack of intimacy. You still have to be attractive to find your partner attractive, and you're responsible for your appearance. Yes. But I just thought that was the weight gain was
that's so interesting.
Threw me for a loop. Unrealistic expectations again is on there too. It's number 6. Lack of intimacy, number 7. Lack of equality, number 8. So you're taking on too much on the role, which leads to resentment. You know, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing the laundry, I'm the dishes, I'm picking up the kids. Like, you need to help out.
Finances, working.
Yeah. Lack of equality. Not being prepared for marriage was on this list, and that's where I want to go. Lastly, physical and emotional abuse was number 10. But not being prepared for marriage. Back to the, getting married young. There's a lot of people who watch the show who are in their early mid-20s, and I feel like a lot of times they're like fighting me, like, yeah, but he's different. I'm like, okay. Okay. Well, all right. I mean, okay. You're asking me, I'm telling you.
They have hope.
The brain doesn't fully develop to 25. He's 23, but okay, he's the one. But not being prepared. So furthermore, it says a surprising number of 75% of couples of all ages have blamed not being prepared for married life for the demise of their relationship. Divorce rates are the highest among couples in their 20s.
Duh. You're in your 20s. You're supposed to be living.
Common sense, not so common, girl. Lack of preparation is one of the most common reasons for divorce. So not being fully equipped, not being prepared, not really thinking long term. There's a lot of people who get married for the wedding, but not the marriage.
Yes. Again, this is all subjective too, right? To be honest with you, bro, age doesn't matter to me anymore. I'm learning.
So would you date a man who's 24?
I mean, I'm not dating him, but I've been hanging out with somebody that's not 24, but he's younger than me.
But
he's like in his late 20s.
Over 25?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't date. Okay, maybe age. I don't know, because the more look, I'm going to be 100.
Let's work through it.
I've dated older men.
Sure.
I've dated men my age, and I dated younger men. There's a lot of commonalities. There's a lot of things that are off.
Totally.
There's a lot of things where I'm like, the older man versus the younger man? I prefer the younger man. Like,
Why? Because there's hope?
No. They're smart.
How so?
What they want, what they desire, how they treat me.
Younger is better than older.
No, I'm not saying it's better than older, but there's some younger men where I meet, so I'm like, oh, he's a lot for what I want and what I desire.
Yeah.
He gives me what I want or desire versus these older men. Or I know he would do X, Y, and Z versus this, So it's all these desires, what I want, what I'm attracting.
Sure.
So I don't base love on age anymore. It's out for me.
Okay.
Because it's experience.
Yes.
It's all based on experience that really shapes someone, I think.
And that's why I think a younger person would have a cap, right? A limit, because how much experience, unless you got some crazy life story at 24, do your thing. And some do, but it's rare. It's extremely rare.
Yes.
So I will say right now, to help people who are under 30 trying to get married, there has never been a time where information is so accessible than today.
Yes.
If you want to be a better person, you can't give me any type of excuse of, I don't know how, or where do I look? Like, what? Yeah. Everything's at our fingertips. Like, if not, you're just ignorant to it. It's all there for you, and most of it's free. So I give the younger generation that, because to say someone who's 40, like when he was 24, this wasn't as accessible.
No, it's two different worlds.
So it's two different worlds. I think the experience thing is very important, though, particularly for men, because we, as we all know, age is nothing but a number. I get all that, but we definitely mature way later than women.
Yes.
I have been a huge.
It's proven that.
It's proven that. I've been a huge advocate of. There's a
scientifically,
click.
Literally.
Yeah, there's a click for men at 30. A couple of women I've had on have said there's also a click for women at 30. The clicks, I think, are a little bit different. Yes. Men think for, their whole 20s, like, I got time. I'll figure it out later, right? I'm going to live forever type of thing. And then you hit 30, you're like, whoa, like, I don't have it figured out. Yeah. I'm actually way behind based on what I thought I would be at 30. I got to hurry up. But what happens with the I got to hurry up most of the time is not like I need to hurry up and find my wife. It's I need to hurry up and find myself, find my career, find my purpose. First, second, third. A woman would come forth. This is just me. Everyone listening, watching, relax for a second. Just hear me out, process, act, don't react. Give me a second here. And I have, with all my clients that are men, like, I don't know if I have one male client that's under 30 that has realized, like, no, I am ready, though, Jay. Like, I'm different. Everyone's like, I'm here because of what you're talking about, because I'm not ready. And how do I get? Right. So I just think, like.
Which is so cool, by the way. Yeah,
I'm trying to turn my past bullshit self into some positive here for the younger generation. But I do think for women, right? So, and I've said this before too, like a woman who's 27 is kind of like a man who's 33 mentally. So that's a big gap. Only 6 years, but it's a big gap though, right?
But I'm thinking about myself. 27 Laticia versus 33 Laticia, two different women.
Yeah, two different women, but still better than what.
Oh yeah.
Me at 27, you at 27.
Yeah.
You were ready to go.
Yeah.
More so than I was. Yes. You at 33, me at 33. We might have started to get a little even, but you probably were a little bit more ahead of like, for example.
I was running a household at 27. A grown ass man at 27.
See what I mean?
Closing. Yes. 100%.
So I understand the age is nothing but a number thing. I just think for women to understand furthermore, like, but for men who are 30 and over, that experience is a huge factor.
Yes.
The weeding out of like short-term mindset and long-term mindset is already there.
Yes.
You're going to, as a man over 30, you're going to know primarily more so than ever who you are, what you want, what you don't want, such as women too. Yes. But I think the biggest thing for why there's a benefit to wait for a man who's 30 and over, hopefully by then they have found their purpose. I can't stress this enough, and this is like a huge thing in the Way of the Superior Man book, but I felt this before. The author just articulated it to where I'm like, I can put my finger on it. And he kept saying, the masculine energy as a man, we deal in first and foremost purpose in life, career. Women deal with love first.
That's natural.
And that's why we clash a lot. Right. But a man 30 and over hopefully has figured out, at least is very close to that purpose and that career. Right. So now it's like, oh, now I have time for a woman.
Yes.
Before 30, you're not even, long term, you're not on my radar. A weekend or a couple months, no problem. So personally, if you're trying to get married in your 20s, I don't think you should do it. I'm sorry. I don't think you should. Here's the thing. I think what you think you want at 26 will definitely be different at 30, 33, 36. And I would argue that it more than likely won't be the same as your partner. Because again, a man at 26 is a woman at 31. So, and again, back to the men, if you don't have your purpose, that is you even said, we are one track minded. Yeah. So that one track is purpose. Right. Where does the partner fit into that? Yeah. Unless we're working together. Yeah. And I don't even say you should do that, but you know what I mean? Like there's couples out there that can, obviously, but it's a lot of work and it's very rare. But a woman is like love based first. 100%. So if that's secondary to me, that's going to be a problem. And that's going to be a lack of expectation. Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to be a lack of communication. Yes. So I don't know. I am very, very big on at least late 20s, at least. And then also I'm a huge advocate of you should live together with your person before you get married.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I really am.
No question.
I mean, I will, for all the religious people out there, I'm sorry. I'm not saying your way's wrong. I know that everything gets brought to the table and yes. out from underneath the surface onto yes. the table, just to really figure out who this person is.
Yes. And it's so beautiful you say that. So you're discovering who this person is, right? Living with them.
Yeah. When
I talk with my therapist about relationships and love and all the things, she mm-hmm. goes, you just really start getting to know somebody at 6 months. 6 months, guys. Mm-hmm. Just starting to get to know them.
Starting, keyword. Okay?
Yeah. Yes, just starting.
Yeah.
And then after that, the year or two, then the engaged him mm-hmm. and her. Mm-hmm. Two different things.
Yeah.
The marriage part, two different people.
Yep.
So it's this ongoing of relearning or unlearning mm-hmm. or this evolution that's going to continue to grow.
Sure.
So you have to be aware of that.
Well said.
And like you said, you have to have a teammate or a partner or mm-hmm. a wife or husband that is down to be on this team with you.
Yeah.
For this goal.
Yeah, no matter what.
Yeah, so
it's really, really well said. I've touched on this in another episode. I really need to unpack it mm-hmm. totally, but I was listening to a therapist on a podcast, and she talked about how you should never even fall in love in the first 2 years.
Really?
I'll explain why.
Oh my God.
I'm the messenger. But she says the first 2 years, mm-hmm. you're still kind of putting on somewhat of an act, and or you're not really being true to yourself. You might be a little bit more clean than you usually are. You might dress a little bit, more so than you usually do, or cook a little bit more so, just all the things, right? But when you hit that 2 year mark, what happens is now it's like, hi, I'm inner child Justin. What's your name? Oh, you're inner child Laticia? Mm. Oh, nice to meet you. Mm. Can our inner children play at the playground? Mm. Are they going to get along? And more so, has my inner child Justin healed?
Interesting.
When I'm showing up to you. Has your inner child healed when you're showing up? And it usually doesn't come out until the 2 year mark.
Really?
And if you think about it, a lot of relationships, if you can even go back, the 2 year mark was very significant. To where problems started to arise more so. They were more constant. Mm. And they were more so I don't even understand. It's because the inner child now is surprise, mother, I'm here. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You buried me for so long and here I am.
Yeah.
Because when you're at that 2 years, you really start to think okay, what if you're not engaged yet or married? What are we doing? 2 years is it's a long time.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
And the inner child's you better check with me first.
Okay. This is very interesting.
I know.
It's very interesting.
Blew my mind.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I have a thing right now where it's I want to build a friendship first with my partner.
Okay.
I want this really cool friendship because I think the issue with that is that we wear these masks in this relationship. Mm-hmm. So what is the issue of us being vulnerable and real? Does it take 2 years for someone to get comfortable to be their vulnerable true self?
It's trust.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
I have issues with trust, so I get that.
Yeah.
But how can we fix that?
Yeah, but how
can we be more vulnerable? And I think things like what you're doing mm-hmm. and people are having the accessibility to therapists now, I think that can change a bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm not wearing a mask anymore mm-hmm. when it comes to yes, the first day I'm going to look fine.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But guess what? In 8 months, mm-hmm. I'm going to have no makeup, wearing my sweats, hanging around the house.
Hopefully before that too.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
So it's just...
Yeah, but it comes down to trust to help you out. It comes down to trust because it's not just infidelity trust, right? I've always talked about this. I have crazy trust issues, mainly from abandonment and neglect and all that.
Yes.
Trust that you have my best intentions. Trust you're not going to crush and break my heart that I'm giving you, and I've never really given anyone this before. So it's all of that. But once you can truly back to living in full fulfillment of you to where now someone's just adding, right?
Yeah.
to what you've already created. You're not expecting them to fill voids. You're not expecting them to be better than your ex. You're not expecting them to give you things that only you can give yourself, like all these things. I think if you can get to that point, you're looking at the relationship or partnership, especially long term, in a different way.
100%.
Because now you're like, I really want this to work, but I don't need it.
No, and can
That's
I
totally
say
different.
something too on top of what you said? I agree 100%. So one of my findings was I wasn't trusting of myself.
Right.
So I didn't trust other people.
Right.
I'm so much more trusting because I know myself now.
That's great.
So when I meet people, I have discernment.
Yes.
Right? And discernment is the key. But I can trust. I feel so much easier and I feel better, like whether I can trust you or not. And it does go over time, and you see different parts of you and the ebbs and flow of trust. But I think that is the key. You have to trust yourself first before you can trust anybody else.
And more so, to add to it, is like, because you can trust yourself now that even if this does hit the fan, you trust how you're going to cope with it.
Yes.
How you're going to let it impact you or affect you.
Because I know me.
Exactly. And you can trust and count on you.
Yes.
Because ultimately, we can't really trust and count on anyone but ourselves.
Yes.
And if you can't even do that for yourself, how the hell are you going to show up in relationship?
You're so right.
Yeah, it's a great realization for sure. Well, that was great.
That was fun.
I'm glad you brought up the topic. I really, I'm sure that's very evident in a lot of audience members right now, especially I think women. Why aren't you married? What's going on?
Don't let it affect you.
Don't let it affect you, and don't take it personal.
Don't take it personal.
Because that's a whole thing too. Like, a lot of people are projectors.
100%.
And you don't know what they're coming from, or what they're going through, or what even their idea of marriage is, or what their expectation is on marriage, right? A lot of these people asking you, why aren't you married? They may be feeling like, I need a husband or a wife to feel complete. It's like, well, great.
That's for you.
But that's not me.
Not for me.
So, and again, I said this too, like, as much as I said I don't trust marriage, I'm also not trying to get divorced.
Yeah.
If it no longer serves us, we will let it go, but we're not trying to get divorced.
Right.
So it's so important to trust yourself, know who you are inside and out, not just the sunny days, but the rainy days, especially the rainy days when you're at your weakest and you're most vulnerable, and just understand, like, what is it that you're even looking for? Like, I guess the last final question for you is why do you want to be married?
Because I want a family and I want a unit. That's what I want to create. Yeah. I wouldn't actually get married. If I didn't want to have children, I don't think I would actually get married, to be honest.
Yeah.
I want to raise kids with two people.
Yeah. With
a village, right? And for me, I would like to have a partner in my life to do that. That's my desire for marriage.
It's beautiful.
If I didn't want that, I don't know if I would ever get married. I don't think it would be necessary for me. I have a really fulfilled, incredible, cool life right now.
Yeah.
And I don't feel the pressure.
Sure.
I feel at my healthiest right now. So I know when I am ready to find that partner, he'll come.
Yeah.
There's no rush. You don't have to accept the pressure from the people, the noise,
right,
the projections onto you. It's not for you.
Yeah.
This is your life. This is your path. This is your journey.
Yeah.
So embrace it. So for me, it's for a family.
Yeah.
I want to have kids with a partner and create a unit to create my
beautiful,
cool ass tribe.
Yeah. For me, it's I want to do life with a partner. It's like one of those things when you travel, say for work, and you go to these most beautiful, exotic places and cool views and cool cities, and it's great. And you're like, man, I wish I could share this with someone. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's special.
I want to share life with someone. I want to have a partner in crime, right? Life is hard as it is.
Yeah.
One of the stats I looked up too was your life expectancy is actually longer if you're married.
Really?
Married again is like a tough word, but just when you're not alone.
Right.
When you have a partner. Yeah. Shay would know this, not me. She loves the rom-com stuff, but it's like a lonely heart is like something, whatever they say. But basically, a lonely heart probably, again, is a fast track to a shorter life. And ultimately, too, kids for sure, and you know, creating a different type of legacy. And and I think because Shay and I come from back to taking your pain and turning it into lessons, based on where we come from, which was painful for us, you know, we want to make sure we give the opposite of, you know, what we had to go through to our children. Yeah. And that is so beautiful, because then you realize you have the power of reframing what love is, 100%. Reframing what marriage is, a union, a partnership, reframing what a father and a mother is. And when you think of it like that, you're like, damn, that's dope. It's cool. I'm hyped. I'm hyped cool for that.
Because you are the driver. You are the driver of this life.
Yeah. You know, but again, these are like, I wouldn't have these answers in my 20s.
Right.
Not to be redundant.
Right.
All these people who are 20s like, JD, shut up. Man, we get it. But I don't mean to like beat the dead horse. But it's like, as who I was back then, I was looking to get married to fill voids. Yeah. I was looking to get married to like make up for what I didn't have. And some of that was still true when I actually got married, but it was more so like, I knew though that I could fill all those voids, and I can give myself that closure or those answers or those solutions. It wasn't dependent on someone else. So my answers were totally different. And I also believe too, you should marry your best friend.
Yeah.
I remember you saying like you want a friendship first.
Yeah, I dig that. I want a friend.
That'll get you through the trenches.
Oh, the trenches. Like my friends, those are my road dogs for life. Like I want a person in my life to be like my friends. Mm-hmm. They see the ugly side of me. They see the cool, beautiful side of me. They know everything about me. Yeah. That's what I desire. Yeah. You know, but I also want to say to the people that are single. Yeah. I'm proud of you. You are the strongest. You know, I have a doorman. Shout out to Alex. I love this man. He is like my LA father. Yeah. And great. He looked at me one day. I was frustrated. It was when I had first moved to LA. And he was like, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I don't know these dudes. This dating thing. I wasn't good at the whole dating thing. Never was when I was young anyway." And he looked at me and he goes, "Look how strong you are." I said, "What?" He goes, "A lot of people can't live this life without somebody else. Right. You are very strong. Yeah. You are so powerful. Alone. Yeah. Imagine when you find your partner. Exactly. How much more power and beauty and love will be created." So being single is not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. Yep. It's fun. It's adventurous.
And don't be scared of it. Yes. Don't be scared to be single. Don't be scared to be alone. Like solitude.
It's your time.
Is so precious and so necessary. Enjoy it as long as you can.
And all my oldest sisters, they were like, they look at me because they're married now. In relationship, she goes, "Look, have fun now." Yes. Because one day you're going to be hoping and praying and remembering this thing. Right. And I was like, damn. I know. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. And be selfish when you're single too. This is your time. This is your years. Like, just enjoy the hell out of it. Yeah. 22, 23. Don't worry about settling down.
Enjoy your life.
Yes.
Make you a priority.
Yes.
Make you a priority. Yeah. And then everything else is going to flow.
Because if you don't make yourself a priority, you're putting that power into the hands of someone else.
Oh, yeah, I did that.
And that's a whole nother episode. A whole nother episode.
Don't do that.
But I appreciate you, of course, for coming on again. Thank you. Always. It's always a joy. You know, we can just talk forever, which is rare in itself. I appreciate our friendship. I was talking to Shay about this the other day. You know, like, you can tell a lot about a friendship when there's time that goes by in between, but then when you actually catch up, it's like, it's all love. It's like nothing's been lost, like no lost time. Yeah. You know, and so I'm just so happy that you continue to like stick to your plan, not society's plan, not older, just your plan, what works for you. So many people don't know how to do that. And even if they do, they're like, "I'm not doing that." Yeah. So good for you for standing in your truth, for continuing to build you. and continue to add value to what you've already, built and show up to today.
I appreciate you. Yeah. But I want to say one thing. I thank you for that, and I received that because it's been a journey, right?
Yeah.
But having people like my community and my support team around me, like you, for instance, my girlfriends, it matters, and it makes a huge difference.
Totally.
So thank you.
Of course.
For being you. And
always here. You know that.
Saying.
Always here.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, where can people find you in case they're not already rocking with you?
First of all, guys, thank you. I'm so proud of him in this podcast. I remember when it was just an idea. So thank you for supporting him. I mean,
when I was shadowing you.
Yeah, at the
way
studio.
Back.
I'm just proud of everything that you're creating.
Crazy.
Your community is so incredible.
Thank you.
You guys can follow me at Laticia.Rolle. I also have a podcast called Girl We Got This. We'll be coming back towards the end of this year and with some more powerful, cool, empowering topics. And Justin will be there.
And Tress?
Yes, my Tress hats. So Tress is a hat company. I make hats for curly girls. I have news I didn't tell you yet. They'll be Nordstrom's.
Whoa.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Wow.
So much going on.
You almost didn't do it anymore too. Wow.
It's crazy.
Good for you.
So yes, wow. Tressforus.com.
That's so dope. I'll put all this in the show notes.
Yeah.
And wow. I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
Well, thank you again.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Always.
To everyone listening and watching, if this resonated with you, if you feel like you just had this conversation, how fitting, how crazy is it? I stumbled across this because we know how that goes. The universe getting your back. Enjoy it and try to process it. And also, if you know someone that can relate to this, share it. Feel free. This is the best thing you could do to support the show. Again, we're almost done with season 1. I have a few more tricks up my sleeve, 2 that I am just so hyped to do. One of them, I'm going to have my oldest brother on the show. Ooh. Yeah, he's probably the most interesting man in the world and one of the most intelligent human beings I know. Wow. He's just incredible. And I'm going to have my therapist on the show. Wow. Which is going to be wild.
Be
yeah. So anyway, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to each and every one of you, part of the community. Until next time.